So, Irulan, first of all, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast episode today. Could you kind of tell us your name, what it is that you do, and your age for me, please?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Irulan. I joined Game Changers back in March this year. I turned 48 in May. And the reason that's significant is all to do with my brother.
Yep, amazing. And I think that kind of like leads us really nicely into kind of like why you joined the program in the first place,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So could you kind of like give us just a bit of a rundown in terms of kind of like where you're at pre the program, where were you at, what kind of made you think about reaching out to us?
Yeah, absolutely. So my brother died from cancer when he was just 47, which is very young. And
really,
then
really young.
I turned 47 myself a few years later, and I realised I was older than he'd ever get to be. And my health wasn't great, and I needed to take control. And I got one of your leaflets through the post, which was fantastic. And I thought, right, this is it. This is what I need to do. So before that had led me a journey of listening to lots of podcasts about health, about fitness training, about how it's changed, about how you need to get strong, not just do cardio. And that was exactly the message that you guys were giving. And I thought, this is what I need to do. So I joined with a view of extending my life, basically being healthy longer. I'd also been diagnosed with high blood pressure, which since doing Game Changers is now back down to normal.
Yeah, awesome.
So I didn't need to go on medication. So I was really pleased about that. And yeah, it's just been an amazing journey so far. And I feel like I'm doing the best I can do for my physical health. And then that feeds into mental health as well.
Yeah, amazing. And let's kind of like dive into that then. So talk me through kind of your initial Kickstart program with us. Was it what you thought it was going to be? Was it like totally different?
More than I think it really was. So I've done gyms before and it's just not my bag at all. I had joined a running club because I used to run, and I realised that at my age now, starting running again was not going to work for me. So I had been searching around for the right kind of thing. I had my first introduction with Tim, which was great. We had a great laugh. And then met the team, and because I do the same time every day of the week, so every Monday and Thursday 11, we formed a little bond.
Really
so there's
special,
about 4 or 5 of us that are always there, and we get on really well, and that sort of camaraderie is what I really wanted. So it's not just about enjoying the exercise, which, believe it or not, I do. I actually now enjoy exercise. I also look forward to seeing everybody and catching up, and we have a good laugh, good banter, good jokes, and everyone is so supportive. And then what I really love outside of that is our get-togethers. And I've started to make some good friends, and we meet for coffee, and they came around for dinner the other day.
Did they really? Amazing.
Yes, it was really nice. So my lovely ladies came around for dinner. So we've sort of started, I've started building friendships, which I needed alongside doing some exercise that feels really positive.
Cool, amazing. And talk to me kind of then about the results that you saw personally over your initial Kickstart program.
Yeah, so the weight actually started dropping off really quickly to start with. It's stabilised now, but to start with, over 6 weeks, I lost a pound a week for 6 weeks.
Really consistent.
Which was amazing. So I've now lost in total a stone, so nearly 6.5 kilos. But it's the muscle development that I've seen, which is amazing. And having the body scans every week is just fantastic to see. So I'm trying to stop being obsessed with that number on the scales, which is hard because that's been ingrained in me my whole life. And I'm looking more at the rest of it, at the fact that my fat is going down and my muscle is going up.
Cool.
So that first sort of 3 weeks really made me see what I could achieve. It put me in mind what can be done if you really set your mind to it. And with you guys and the information you give and the feedback, I know I can achieve better things, basically. It gave me confidence.
Cool, awesome. And you mentioned about the body scans, which I think is quite an important part, right? Because you said something really poignant then, and you're absolutely not alone, by the way. We're traditionally quite scale driven. Like everything we hear about, whether it's in the press, whether it's anything, it's always weight loss, or how heavy you are. Whereas that's not really how we work. It's actually about how your body's made up. We use a machine that completes what's called a DEXA scan, and it gives you a body composition analysis. And how did you find being given that information, and how do you feel it's beneficial going forward to monitoring your progress real time?
Yeah, so I must admit I was terrified about standing on there.
Yeah.
I was worried about visceral fat. I'd
Yeah.
read up a lot about it, about what kind of things you could see. And I just sort of wondered what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was actually much better than I thought it was going to be. So when Tim did it with me and started looking at the results and said, you know what, you're not in such a bad shape as you thought you were.
Yeah.
So that was really reassuring. But getting those results every single week makes me know that I'm on the right track. And sometimes the results aren't so good. So I can go, okay, I've been a bit naughty this week, maybe eaten some things I shouldn't have, maybe drank a bit too much. And then it's there. The results are there. You can see what's really going on rather than what's superficially on the outside. So yeah, that's given me definitely more confidence to know that what I'm doing is working.
Yeah, amazing. And I think that's so important, right? It's from a goal planning point of view, and for you to be able to see kind of like where you want to be and further goals, which we're 100% going to dive into that very, very shortly. But it's about being able to see kind of like the inputs you're doing the previous week to obviously where you're going each week going forward as well, which I think is amazing. So after your 21 days, we then obviously had a quick chat about kind of what it is that you're looking to achieve more longer term. So let's kind of dive into that then. So what are your longer term goals now, and what's kind of like that purpose that keeps you focused going forward then, please?
Yeah, so I think longer term goals is obviously still to lose a bit more weight, but predominantly it's to get stronger. So I've managed to get the 5% when we did our check this time, which is great. So my next target is the 4% in November. So that's the top 4% of fittest people in this country, I believe, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll just give a quick bit of foreground, because for some people that will make no
nothing.
sense whatsoever.
Exactly.
So as part of the GC program, our initial goals are to get clients healthy. Once we've got them healthy, we want to get them strong, we want to get them fit. And then obviously, you know, from what you've said, we benchmark you against the top 5, top 4, top 3, top 2 and top 1%, which again, Irulan's been very candid in saying, oh, just top 5. But actually, when you break this down, 95% of the population will never get to where you have been already. So this is an incredible milestone. And now we're starting to go for 4, for 3 and upwards. So talk to me kind of like, what's the purpose for getting stronger and fitter for you then, please?
So the purpose for me, other than obviously my own health, is my long-term goal is to do this trek. So I've got a trek plan for charity, raising funds for the charity that looked after my brother.
Yeah.
So the last 11 days of Elton's life, he was looked after by a hospice called Dorothy House. And I found out that the cost for those 11 days would have been £10,000. So I vowed that I would raise that money to pay back financially what they did for me, which you can't really put a figure on it. But anyway, so in 2026, I'm going to do a trek in Peru to Machu Picchu. It's going to be a bit crazy because we are climbing some ridiculous heights. So I think the highest we're going is 4,630 meters above sea level.
Yeah, that's
which is pretty high.
Decent amount of height. Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I'm fit enough to do those climbs without basically breaking myself.
Yeah. Sure.
So it's and it's about mental resilience as well as physical resilience. So I know it's sort of a long-term goal is to basically be strong enough to do those kind of activities without being nervous that I'm not going to make it. So I've done long treks before when I was much younger. So my body's very different now to when it was in its 20s.
Yeah.
So I feel I need to prepare more than I ever did before. And to get there, one of my plans is to walk the Southwest Coastal Path. So over the next 2 years leading up to doing this trek, I want to get fitter here at Game Changers, get stronger, and then take that out into the real world and start walking. Walking through nature for me is one of the best things for mental health. So yeah, that's the long-term plan is lots of walking, up lots of hills. Yeah.
And talk to me about the Machu Picchu trek then. So how many days is it that you're going for?
It's 10 days in total. It's quite significant. So the day we leave is the 18th of April, and that actually would have been my brother's 54th birthday.
Wow, okay.
The day we arrive would be the 20th, and that's actually will mark the anniversary of his death.
Yeah.
So these dates, when they came up, when I saw this advertised, I thought this has just got to be.
Yeah.
So I signed up straight away.
Yeah.
So first of all, we're going to land into Lima, which is sea level, and then we're going to go up to Cusco. So Cusco is 3,400 meters above sea level.
Yeah.
So You do this slowly. So then you have another day in Cusco to get adjusted to the height. And then we're going to spend 2 days with a Peruvian family, helping them within their community. So that was something that I thought was really special. So actually getting to know the people rather than doing some sort of touristy thing. So we're going to be living in their homes, helping them build a community centre, a garden, whatever it is that's needed at the time. So that's another 2 days to adjust. And then we go higher again and we start trekking. So it's 3 full days of trekking. It can be up to 7 to 8 hours a day walking. It's going to be slow because it's so steep and so high. And then we spend 3 days literally camping in the middle of nowhere, which also includes leave no trace behind, which includes everything. So, yeah, a bit nervous about that side of things. They said take nappy bags. Anyway, I'll leave it there. So we're trekking for 3 days, and then on the last day we arrive at Machu Picchu, and we have a full day to explore it, which is just going to be amazing, absolutely beautiful. And then we come back down again, sea level back down slowly. So you spend another day in Cusco before you go back to Lima, so that you're bringing yourself back down off the mountain without it being too much of a shock. So yeah, that's the plan basically.
Amazing, and it sounds really cool. And how prepared do you feel for taking that challenge on as well?
I feel mentally prepared because I know I've done this kind of thing before. And when you're doing it in memory of someone that you've lost, obviously losing somebody is a mixed bag for everybody. Everyone goes through different things. But for me, my brother loved life. He was an adventurer. And he lived every single day to the max. And what I try and do is take that spirit of him and channel it through my own life now. So I have to live life to the full because I'm doing it for him and for me. So for me, doing an adventure like this and raising money for the charity, mentally, I'm there. Physically, I think I've got a way to go. So even though I now have legs of steel as a result of all the squats we do, the rest of me isn't as strong. And although we won't be carrying our full packs, I will have a lovely horse to do that for me, apparently. I will be carrying a day pack. So for me, I want to get upper body strength and I want to get my core strong because I know I'm going to need that, especially climbing up hills. So even if your legs are strong, you need a strong back. And that is the bit that's weak. So because I have a health condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is EDS, which means I'm very bendy, and my muscles are particularly pathetic. So that's why, for me, I need to get on top of my muscle strength in order to do this. So that's the plan. Yeah,
amazing. and from a time frame point of view, absolutely realistic. It's not like you're going, Josh, I've got 4 weeks, let's go. We've got plenty of time. We can totally get you there. And then let's also talk about your fundraising efforts as well. I think this is really important. So how much money have you managed to raise to date then, please?
So for doing other activities, including last year, I did a wing walk, which was just amazing. I've so far raised about $3,500 for the charity.
Amazing.
So I've got 7.5 to go. I don't expect to do it all on this one trip. The target is 6,000. That's what they want raised. However, half of that actually pays for the trek itself. So I want to fund that myself because I don't believe in people paying for me to go and have a jolly in Peru. So ideally, I want to raise between £3,000 and £4,000. I've got 1.5 years. I think that's quite realistic. I've done this before. I know it can be done. I used to be an events organizer, so I'm a super organized person and I don't shy away from doing some crazy stuff. So hopefully we can do some pretty cool events to get the money together. But my first little plan is I've started making gym bags for everybody. So I'm making these little drawstring bags. I've got my first sale already.
Have you really? Well done you. Yeah.
So I'm going to be making them and I'm hoping the members of the gym will get on board. They're just little bags to put all your keys and your phone and your water bottle in every time you come in. So the idea is that with that 50%, which is £5, goes towards the charity, 50% goes towards my deposit. I do this, I've been doing this for a long time, making bags. I've got a little brand called Once Upon a Time. So I take old clothes and discarded items and I turn them into bags. So it's all about sort of recycle, reuse, which is my passion. So this is a little passion project I do in the evenings when I'm not at the gym or writing.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping to sort of use that to raise some funds towards Machu Picchu.
Amazing. Well, what we'll do is part of this podcast anyway. So and anybody listening to this, we'll put up a donation link as well. And also for any gym members watching this, it'd be rude not to put a little link up so they could jump on and purchase their own gym bags, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Cool.
I need to get sewing.
So talk to me about then kind of like what's so different about the Game Changer program to like other experiences that you've traditionally had then, please.
Yeah, I mean, going into a normal gym, obviously you go in there normally alone or with a workout buddy. You tend to have your headphones in, you don't talk to anybody, you get on a machine, you do what you need to do, and then you go home again. And you've no idea if what you're doing is the right thing for you, what you're actually targeting, what you're achieving. And the difference with Game Changers is obviously we're getting constant feedback, constant catch-ups, and there's always people there to talk to and compare what you're going through with, sharing your story, and also being in the same boat. I mean, Chloe and I spent hours on the food apps going, what do you enter for this? And what do you eat this? And why don't you eat that? So yeah, changing the way that you eat, changing the way you view food as a fuel. So I have had a very complicated relationship with food. Having spent most of my 20s hardly eating at all and living off cigarettes, alcohol and adrenaline like we do in our 20s. So now my relationship with food is much more gentle, and it's about making sure that I'm putting the right nutrients into me. And it's about having the strength. So when I do come into here, I'm fueled up and I'm ready to go and I've got energy and I can give it my all. And that's the difference with Game Changers, is it's a whole holistic package. It's not just about working out. It is about how you view your body, about having confidence, about knowing how strong you are and what you can do, and always testing our limits. So we're always trying to put a little bit more weight on the weights before we lift them. We're trying to go a bit faster on the ski. We're trying to cycle a bit faster. And because everything's written down, we can compare our results one week to the next. So we know that we're getting better and getting stronger. So I'm always a bit of a perfectionist, and I'm always really hard on myself. Yeah. And having Katie, Tim and yourself feedback saying you're doing the right thing, you're going in the right direction, just keep doing it, don't give up, don't get despondent. That's what really helps. And you do not get that when you go into a gym, run for 10 minutes and leave again. You're just not going to get the same experience.
Yeah. No, definitely. And talk to me about kind of like the actual sessions then, because I think a lot of it's really difficult, even for us coaches, to articulate like what it is that we do in sessions without you actually experiencing it. So talk to me kind of what the sessions are like from your perspective.
Yeah.
Then, please.
Okay, cool. So I do 11 o'clock on a Monday and a Thursday. I like doing it regular. That's just what fits in with my life. But obviously other people can move it around. So you come in, you have a chat, you get to see everybody, come in a little bit early so you can catch up with everyone. Yeah. And then obviously whoever's coaching that day takes you through what's going to happen very clearly, demonstrates the exercises so you're not lost. It is overwhelming when you're a newbie and you're literally standing there going, this is a different language. I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah. But once you understand the language, it suddenly all makes sense. So it's divided into 3 parts, very easy. You've got your cardio, you've got your strength, and you've got your weightlifting. And you do 10 minutes on each. It's regular in that sense, so you can get your head around it. Yeah. But then obviously the exercises are different every single time. So session 1, session 2, I make sure I do 1 of each every week, so I'm not overworking a particular area. And then obviously you have very loud music.
It always helps though, doesn't it?
Brilliant. Yeah. It is brilliant. Unless you're with Chris and then he moans about every song because he doesn't like them. But still hasn't made his own playlist.
Yeah, correct. So he hasn't. No, yeah.
So like the other week, as you progress, you go from level 1, 2, 3, particularly on the cardio. So level 1 is when you're just starting, level 2 is when you're getting more proficient, and level 3 is when you feel that you can really cope with the hard stuff. And the other week, I'd never done a level 3, and I had Rob next to me going, go on, do it. And I was like, oh, really? And he said, go on, you can do it. So having that peer pressure, encouragement, meant that I went, okay, yeah, I can do a level 3. Let's give this a go. And I was literally on the floor afterwards, But I was so proud that I gave it a go. And, you know, if it does get to the point that it's too much, you just stop. It's not like anyone, you know, no one's going to tell you off. Well, Katie might.
Possibly. Cool, amazing. And then talk to me about kind of like the community side of things, because I think, you know, what you've mentioned there is it's so awesome. So you book in regular days and times, and then with those you're building obviously a community. You mentioned about friends coming around your house. So talk to me about like what the community element means to you and being on this program.
So again, you wouldn't get that in a normal gym, or you might chat to the odd person, but it takes a long time to build friendships. And I think a lot of us are in a similar boat here. A lot of us are around the same age as well, so we're a bit older. And unless you've got kids that go to school, how do you meet other grown-ups who have similar interests to you? It's actually quite difficult, because a lot of us, well, me in particular, I work at home. So I don't go into an office. I don't have workmates anymore. I'm a freelancer. So getting to meet adults of a similar age who have the same goal is just brilliant. And so, normally after the Weekend Warrior, which we can talk about later.
We're so covering that, don't worry.
After the Weekend Warrior, we go and have a cup of tea down at the local farm shop, and it's lovely. So that's how I've got to know people. So Tabin, Alison and Kaz are my three girls. And we've really started bonding over similar experiences, sharing our journeys, our life experiences, and being women of a certain age going through similar things. It's really helpful to have that community around me, and I think that's what I was really missing. Because I literally walk the dog and work at home. So it's really nice to get out. And then we had our Hawaiian barbecue.
We don't have to bring it up, though. We don't have to bring that up.
It was hilarious. Only in Devon do you have a Hawaiian barbecue standing in the rain in a field.
After the marquee got lifted from its pegs and blown down the field. It wasn't our proudest day, I must say.
But we were there and we had fun and we laughed, and that's what matters. And that's the thing. You could do anything with this bunch of people because they're up for anything. It's like, let's just get on with it. It's that kind of positive mentality that will transcend, you know, not just coming into Game Changers, but standing in a field in the rain.
And literally sheeting rain, wasn't it, at some points? It was definitely a fun day.
Let's hope that Bude is a bit nicer.
Fingers crossed. And obviously I haven't learned, so I'm still going for the barbecue option. But anyway, you know, we've got plenty of time.
Absolutely.
So we've kind of discussed sessions, we've discussed community, we've kind of alluded to something called Weekend Warrior, which sounds quite scary to the untrained ear, right? So talk to me about Weekend Warrior. What is it? And again, what's it like from your perspective?
So I'm supposedly not meant to be coming on Saturday, but I have put my name down. That's how addictive it is, and that's how much fun it is. So I'm not meant to be coming because I've got a new tattoo and I'm meant to be looking after it, but I reckon I'll be fine. So Weekend Warrior is, you know, get out of bed early on a Saturday, which a lot of you won't normally do. 9 o'clock, we come here and we literally put our heart and souls into working our asses off. It's brilliant, brilliant fun. It's just, so we divided into 2 teams and we have a friendly competition with no cheating, no goading. I'm joking.
I was going to say, asterisks involved.
There's lots of that. And it's not scary at all. It's great fun. It really is. And if you're not that confident or strong yet, it doesn't matter, because there are all sorts of abilities, all sizes, all shapes, all different levels of people who've been here for years, people who've just started, and it's just a team effort. And so you're pitted against each other to literally be as fast and as strong as you can. And it's an hour and a half of ridiculousness, basically, and you just do what you can. You do the fastest, the hardest that you can. And you've got teammates jeering you or you know, supporting you. And it's just generally great fun. I just love it. And it's a chance to get to know people that you wouldn't normally see in your sessions because they do different times. And so it's a real community bringing together of all Game Changers. I love it.
Amazing. Well done. And I think that after you've like booked into your first one, it's like that, you know, it's like that, like doing something for the first time any time, isn't it? You walk in, there's a lot more people than there normally is. It's normally a little bit more rowdy than it normally is. Like everyone's got a lot of energy on a Saturday morning, haven't they? But no, well done you. Awesome.
Apart from the burpees. That's my only thing I don't like is the full burpees. But hey,
you know, sometimes you just have to get involved, don't you? You know,
do the best you can. Lie on the floor and get back up again is basically what I do.
Amazing. And what would you say to anyone that's kind of like possibly on the fence about joining the program, or a little bit nervous and apprehensive about actually stepping foot into this kind of environment then?
Absolutely do it, and do it now. I mean, believe it or not, it won't come across here, but I'm actually quite a shy person, and I've spent my life being scared of doing new experiences, always. And I think, again, this goes back to me losing my brother and realising that you have one life. It is yours. You need to dictate what you want it to look like, because no one else can do that for you. And believe me, I've been through my fair share of absolute crap, especially this year. But having the game changers and being able to do something positive that is just for me and not for anyone else is worth me getting over my nerves of coming in here. And I was nervous, of course I was. I was absolutely terrified. And I had no idea what I was getting myself in for. And I love it. And I'm so glad it's one of the best decisions I've made, because I've taken control of my life, my body, my health. And it's down to me to make sure that I get to carry on being healthy. And yeah, we're all going to get old and frail at some point, but my determination is to keep on being as strong as I can for as long as I can and as healthy as I can. And that's what Game Changers is doing for me. It's giving me that confidence. So if you're thinking about it, just do it. And, you know, yes, it's scary, but it's worth it.
Amazing. Irulan, thank you so much for joining us morning. And do you kind of have like any other like finishing points which you would like to put forward at all?
No, just hopefully support me in my fundraising, help me raise some money for Dorothy House, which would be fantastic. And just thank you to you guys for having this opportunity, for making Game Changers, for making this happen, because it really is life-changing for so many people. And it's such a great community here, and that's led by you, Katie and Tim. So thank you for doing it.
You're more than welcome. Thank you so much. And once more, what we'll do, under this podcast, there'll be a couple links whereby people can make donations, and also any fellow members that would like to sort their gym bags out, we'll get that lot sorted for you.
That would be great.
But yeah, other than that, thank you so much.
You are welcome.